I never thought my years as a Navy SEAL would come crashing. Back to life on a quiet Friday afternoon in suburban Texas. But when 3 fake cops showed up on my porch pretending to be HOA enforcement, and one of them laid a hand on my wife. Everything I'd learned about restraint, precision, and survival came roaring back in seconds. It started like any other peaceful afternoon. Sarah was unpacking groceries, humming softly as she placed oranges and apples on the porch table. The sunlight hit the driveway in that calm golden hue that made the neighborhood look picture-perfect. Then a black SUV rolled up, tinted windows, engine idling too long. My instincts didn't like it. 3 men stepped out, wearing tactical vests labeled HOA Enforcement Unit. No department patches, no state insignia, no marked car, just fake authority and overconfidence. Sarah, polite as ever, greeted them. "Can I help you?" she asked. The tall one, square-jawed, wearing dark shades, responded coldly. "We're here under HOA orders. You violated Property Code 14C, unauthorized exterior changes." Sarah blinked, confused. "You mean the flower pots?" she asked. He ignored her tone. "We need to inspect the property. Move aside." Sarah stayed firm. "You don't have a warrant, and this is private property. You're trespassing under Texas Penal Code 30.05. Leave now." The leader smirked, hand resting on a baton strapped to his belt. "Lady, don't make this difficult." When she pulled out her phone to record, he smacked it from her hand, and when she instinctively stepped back, he shoved her hard. Groceries spilled, apples rolling down the porch steps. Then, in one brutal move, he punched her straight in the ribs. The scream that came out of her, it wasn't just pain. It was fear, shock, and disbelief. I heard it from inside. My body moved before my brain caught up. I sprinted to the gun safe near the door. Code already keyed in from muscle memory. My M4 rested there, legal and locked, the same rifle I'd trained with for over a decade. When I stepped onto the porch, my blood turned to ice. Sarah was cornered, gasping for breath, while the 3 men tried to grab her arms. I raised the rifle, my stance steady. "Drop your gear and back away from my wife," I ordered, my voice low but deadly calm. They froze for a second, processing that this wasn't a bluff. "Sir," the tall one sneered, "you're making a mistake. The HOA president told us you've been ignoring violation notices. We're just enforcing the law." I stared him down. "You're impersonating law enforcement, assaulting a civilian, and trespassing. That's 3 felonies before lunch." His smirk widened. "You think you can scare us with that toy?" His hand twitched toward Sarah again. That was it. The switch inside me flipped. "Safety off." I warned once more. "Don't move." He lunged. My finger squeezed the trigger. 3 controlled bursts echoed across the porch. Years of training turned chaos into rhythm. 2 rounds hit clean, one in his shoulder, one in his thigh. The 3rd man dove behind the SUV as the window shattered. Sarah stumbled back, crying out, clutching her ribs. "Get down!" I yelled, moving between her and the car. The injured men writhed on the ground, one screaming, "He shot me!" The tall one dropped his baton, eyes wide, shock overtaking arrogance. I kept my muzzle steady, scanning for threats, then kicked their fake batons and plastic cuffs away. "Sarah, stay behind me," I ordered. She nodded, shaking pale. I holstered the rifle sling and pulled out my phone. 911 self-defense shooting. 3 suspects impersonating officers. My wife's injured," I said quickly. The operator's voice came back calm and clear. "Units are en route, sir. Stay where you are." The air was thick with gunpowder and adrenaline. Sarah leaned against the porch railing, breathing shallow, tears streaking her face. I put my hand on her shoulder. "It's over, baby." "They're done." But it wasn't over, not by a long shot. Within minutes, sirens pierced the neighborhood. Red and blue lights flashed at the end of the street. Neighbors peeked from behind blinds, phones recording. 2 county cruisers screeched to a halt, deputies shouting, "Hands where we can see them!" I raised my hands immediately, rifle slung down. "Shooters me!" Navy SEAL, victims of assault and impersonation. "Weapons safe!" The deputies moved in fast, cuffed the suspects, and secured the scene. One of them, an older officer with sharp eyes, knelt down, picked up a badge, and muttered, "These aren't police badges. These are printed fakes." The relief in my chest was short-lived. Sarah winced, clutching her ribs, and collapsed to her knees. I rushed to her side. "Stay with me," I whispered. "You're safe now." The paramedics arrived moments later. As they lifted her onto a stretcher, I could still hear one of the injured men cursing, calling me crazy. I ignored him. All I could see was Sarah's face, pale but alive. When the sheriff himself arrived, gray hair under a crisp hat, he looked at the SUV riddled with bullet holes and then at me. "You want to tell me what the hell happened here, son?" I nodded, steadying my breath. 3 men posing as HOA cops assaulted my wife. I acted in self-defense. The sheriff sighed, eyes narrowing. "You Navy?" "Yes, sir." "SEAL Team 4, retired." He nodded slowly. "Then you know the rules of engagement." "Yes, sir," I said. "Controlled bursts. No fatalities." He looked at me for a long moment, then finally nodded again. "We'll get to the bottom of this." As the ambulance pulled away, the sound of the sirens faded into the Texas evening, but inside me, something darker was just beginning. Because the next morning, the HOA president herself decided to make her move, and that's when this story stopped being just about self-defense. It became a war. The next morning, the HOA parking lot was buzzing with tension. Karen strutted in with her oversized binder, ready to make her official complaint against Lisa. She even brought along 2 neighbors she'd manipulated into signing her fake petition. Lisa stood beside her attorney, her hands trembling slightly, but her eyes full of quiet confidence. The board gathered, looking uneasy. They'd heard whispers about the security footage Lisa had mentioned. Karen cleared her throat dramatically. "This woman has been breaking HOA rules repeatedly," she declared. "Noise violations, unauthorized gatherings, even damage to the property from that illegal generator." She smirked, expecting applause. Instead, the HOA president frowned. "Karen, we reviewed the footage," he said slowly. "It shows you entering Lisa's backyard without permission. Multiple times." The room went silent. Karen's face froze. "That's impossible. I was just checking on her violations." The lawyer spoke up calmly. "Actually, Ms. Karen, that's called trespassing. And filing false reports under HOA authority can result in legal action." Gasps echoed across the room. Karen's smugness vanished. She stammered, "You can't do this." "I'm part of the HOA." But the board president shook his head. "Not anymore. Effective immediately, you're suspended pending investigation." The crowd murmured as Karen's face turned pale. Lisa stepped forward, her voice firm but steady. "All I wanted was peace. You made my life miserable for no reason." Karen tried to speak, but words failed her. Security gently guided her out, while the neighbors she'd tricked avoided her gaze. By evening, the neighborhood chat was flooded with messages. Karen's downfall had gone viral in the community group. Screenshots of the footage circulated, showing her sneaking around like a criminal. One resident posted, "Instant karma. The HOA bully finally got what she deserved." Lisa sat on her porch that night, sipping tea as the sunset painted the sky orange and gold. Her dog rested by her feet, tail wagging softly. For the first time in months, the street was peaceful. A few neighbors walked by, waving and smiling. One of them, a man Karen had once yelled at for leaving his garbage bin out too long, said, "You handled that with grace, Lisa." She smiled. Sometimes you don't have to fight loud, you just have to stand your ground. In the distance, Karen's moving truck appeared, boxes stacked high, her face hidden behind sunglasses. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. She was leaving the very neighborhood she once ruled like a queen. As Lisa watched the truck disappear, she whispered softly, "Peace at last." The HOA president called later that evening to apologize for not acting sooner. "We've learned a big lesson," he said. "No one is above accountability." Lisa thanked him and logged off the call, feeling lighter than she had in years. She opened her window and took a deep breath of the cool evening air. The neighborhood, once ruled by fear and gossip, was now calm and free. That night, Lisa posted one final message in the HOA group. "Sometimes justice takes time, but it always arrives." It became the most liked comment in the group's history. "Ho Karen, instant karma. Neighborhood justice. Karen gone too far. HOA drama.